Welcome to the Windy City Rundown. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another great episode of the Windy City Underground. I am Eric Avila. That is Jose Contreras. After a 2 week of hiatus, thanks to me. That's the only reason why we're gone for 2 weeks. We are back. And we are ready to go. Jose, how are you today, my guy?
What up, Eric?
Not
Welcome
much,
back to the States, man. I heard you went to Europe. Went to go see the Arsenal.
Yeah, I went to go see the Arsenal. Very disappointing matchup that day. Saw the Harry Potter Studios. That was pretty fucking awesome. I ain't gonna lie. That was probably the best one. Did a lot of sightseeing and first time across your country, across Europe, across the Atlantic Ocean, that the big pond that's off to the east. But it was great. It was a great experience. It was fun. It was I want to go back to do other things in Europe, in London, in England, to be exact. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be with you guys. I missed you guys. I missed you. Yeah, talk sports, man, because I did miss it for the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
And unfortunately, nothing really. Yep. Nothing exciting yet so far. The Bears did make a move today that won't be in effect until March 12th. They traded for offensive lineman for the Los Angeles Rams. I think they gave up a 6th-round pick. What was the name of the offensive lineman again, Jose? Remind me. As I look up in my
Jake Jonah or Jake something, Jake Jonah,
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Well,
so it's up.
I mean, the Bears
lineman from Los Angeles Rams who only played 4 games last season. He originally played with the Detroit Lions for about 4 years there. He was a Pro Bowl in 2021. So Ben Johnson knows him really well. He played well with Jared Goff. He played well with Matthew Stafford, which is why he probably went to the Rams last year. The Rams, obviously, with their cap issues, couldn't keep him. And with him injured, they were like, hey, let's trade him away. And Chicago Bears, who have all the cap space in the world, it made sense for them to take him, especially with Ben Johnson, who's so familiar with him, and with him being familiar with Ben Johnson. So it looks from the outside looking in, Eric, it looks like a fit that might work out as long as he comes in healthy, ready to go. I like it.
Yeah. The Bears are sending a 2025, so this year, 6th-round pick to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for guard Jonah Jackson.
There you go. Jonah Jackson.
Yeah, he's 28, so he started 61 games over his 5 NFL seasons. Like you just said, he was a Pro Bowl. In 21, he was drafted by the Lions, where he played 4 seasons with Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
He signed, like you said, last year, 3-year, $51 million contract with the Los Angeles Rams. Scheduled to make $17.5 million in the salary cap. You're absolutely right. The Bears have the salary cap room to do so. And so it's one of those situations. I guess the Bears went the next route, right? I think we all expected Trey Smith to be with the Chicago Bears. At least that would have been the first move that the Chicago Bears would have made this offseason. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. He got the franchise tag with the Kansas City Chiefs. So now the Bears are scrambling out and trying to get another aspect, and that's where they got Jonah Jackson here from the Los Angeles Rams. It's one of the moves that they have to make, and I think obviously that's going to be the next move. The center from the Atlanta Falcons, who is a free agent this year, is the Bears route to as well. Jose, I think this is the route that the Bears are going to make. I think they're going to focus a lot on offensive linemen this offseason via free agency, and it looks like it's also going to be in the draft too as well for the Bears to get their next to fix their offensive line.
As they should. It does look like they're going with the offensive line route. I think we all knew these were positions that needed to be filled, especially with how Caleb Williams played without an offensive line last year. The offense struggled mightily, and with the Ben Johnson led offense, you need an offensive line to not only protect your quarterback and allow him to make plays, but you've seen what he can do with the two running back set. And 100%, man. I mean, if we have DeAndre Swift and if we can get another running back in here, whether it's via draft or free agency, regardless of the fact we need a strong offensive line for them to move the ball and do anything that Ben Johnson wants to do. So this makes me feel good knowing that they're searching for offensive linemen. They got Jonah Jackson today. They still have Darnell Wright. Braxton Jones still looks like he might be a starter going into next season. So they have two more spots to fill in that starting role for the offensive line, which looks really good. Let's keep it up. Again, we just gotta hope and pray that Jonah Jackson is the Jonah Jackson that Ben Johnson sees or seen in Detroit. So if that's the case, Eric, it looks pretty good. All signs point to a successful season coming up. At the same time, if they're going to, with the cap space that they have, if they're going to use that for the offensive line, then does that maybe spark interest in drafting Alshon Jenti, man? I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it.
I think we had this conversation before I went on vacation. I still feel a little weary about drafting a running back that early in the draft, especially with the number 10 pick, especially with the help that you need on both sides of the ball. I think you try to get the best offensive lineman player out there available. I know for a fact that the Detroit Lions did that, drafting Jahmyr Gibbs after they got what's his name, David Montgomery from the Chicago Bears after free agency. And I see that and I get that, but the Lions have already been building that team, building that roster up for years prior to that, which made sense of drafting Jahmyr Gibbs for the Detroit Lions. You said Alshon Jenti, yeah, for sure. That's a good draft pick, or at least is one of those interesting draft picks for sure. But the Bears still need a lot of work, man. And I don't think just fixing everything in free agency solves the long-term problem. It solves the problem right now, short-term for sure. But in all honesty, like you just need to draft all those hard blue chip players in the draft that you need in the young players. Whether if it is on the offensive or defensive side of the ball, because they need help on both lines. So I wouldn't. I'm not on board, nor I don't even think I'll get on board of drafting Gentry with the number 10 pick at all. Or at all. I think I'll just get another offensive lineman, whether if it's not Will Campbell, it's the guard from Texas or the tackle from Texas. It's a very offensive line heavy draft this year, and you have a lot of holes to fix, especially if you want to keep Caleb Williams upright this upcoming season.
Yeah, I hear you. And again, I'm just saying, playing devil's advocate here, I wouldn't mind it.
I hear you.
Only because of what we've seen they can do in Detroit, but Detroit already had an established offensive line when they got Jahmyr Gibbs, so it made a lot of sense doing it that way. That being said, Eric, with them making this move, obviously on the offensive line, you were just talking about the defensive line, and there's a lot of rumors, a lot of interest, a lot of stuff that we're hearing reports back and forth about maybe Khalil Mack being, interested in coming back and us interested in bringing him back. So is that something you would want to see? And for those who are watching, is that something you would want back? I mean, I bet you all those people with the Khalil Mack jerseys would be happy with it.
A la you have one, don't you?
Yeah, I do have one. I don't know if it's still in good condition, but I do have one. But yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. Is that a move you're interested in?
What's Khalil Mack coming in? Age 32, 33?
I mean,
somewhere around there.
He only got older, but he had a really good season last year in Los Angeles. So
he did. Look, man, I would do it if it's like a 2 to 3 year deal. You know what I mean? A 2-year deal, it's easy simply because it's kind of like a short-term fix. And obviously you have two drafts to kind of quote unquote replace him alongside a free agency class too as well, right? He may cost you probably the less amount of money outside of a Max Crosby. Max Crosby also, you could also trade for him, but you don't want to give up the trade value just yet. You know what I mean? For Khalil Mack, I would personally do it, not just to bring the nostalgia back of 2018 when he was just on a tear with that team and could have made a difference if a kicker would have made the field goal from 42 yards, which is a chip shot. But I would bring him back. I mean, you need somebody on the opposite side of Montez Sweat. I get it. He would open up a lot of lanes up the middle for the defensive tackles to come up and make the space, and he will also free up the double triple team that they have on Montez Sweat because nobody else can get to the quarterback outside of him. So for the short term, simply because if you really focus on the offensive line this year, that could fix your problem too as well on the opposite side. So I would personally do it like on a 2-3 years max, but definitely a 2-year deal.
I agree. I would also do it. I mean, it's only going to help. It's only going to benefit your team. He's very familiar with the city. City's familiar with him. If he's coming in playing the same way he played last year, why not? I mean, we've always liked him here, and I would totally think that he would want to come back. I mean, the city was nothing but good to him. So I agree. I agree with everything you said. I would love Khalil Mack. Selfishly, not just because, like you said, I have a jersey, but I think he would definitely benefit the team. Opposite side of Montez Sweat, boy, not bad, not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Now he's definitely probably the number one, maybe number two. I think what's the 49ers guy, Hargrave. I think he's also up there. I think he's one of the top rated defensive linemen out there this year in free agency. But again, it's kind of one of those situations where it's like you really need to pick your poison on which guy you really go out for. Obviously, there's Max Crosby, somebody that's younger that you could trade for, with using up a draft pick. But given that the Bears do have that draft capital, Jose, I don't think you should trade away any of the picks, especially if you have all these holes that you have to fill.
I mean, if it makes sense for someone like you said, like a Hargrave or somebody a little bit younger who would who would be here a lot longer, who would make a little bit more of an impact, then yeah, you trade away. Do what you can. I mean, that's what they're there for, right? You're supposed to get a player, and if you can get somebody who's already proven on the field, like I said, who's younger and with more years in the contract, why not? But with that being said, I mean, I do get it. What you're saying is like, especially this year more than ever. Like, if you're Ryan Poles, even with an extension, like you're starting over from scratch here. You have a great quarterback who's young, and you have something there. He's special. Yeah. You have the bell of the ball. Basically what everybody's been saying with Ben Johnson, right? With all these head coaches that were available this past offseason, you have that going into for you, and who's going to drop nothing but schemes and help this team get over the hump. There's a lot of positive going into the season. So if you're Ryan Poles, yes, you want to make sure you do right by your draft picks, by the amount of money you have going into this offseason, but don't be scared to pull the trigger if it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Hear you.
Like we were hearing all these rumors and reports like, oh, the Bears should go after Myles Garrett and give up this. This isn't. I feel like it's too much. For something like that, it's too much. But if there's somebody out there, somebody that maybe only requires a second, third round pick, do it. I didn't mind this trade they did today, right? We're getting Jonah Jackson, because essentially that 6th round pick is basically what you got for Justin Fields. So you traded away Justin Fields to get back an offensive lineman. And if it works out for you, then that's great.
Kind of a good way to see it, yeah.
So we'll see how that works out. And yeah, I mean, Ryan Poles, this is it, man. You have the keys. I mean, you've had the keys to the car, keys to the house, but you did some renovations. It looks good right now, but it's only on paper. And like I said, I think you and I are both in agreement. We're not going to go into this season like we did last off season with all this hype and promise. I think we're just going to let it play out and see what the hell's going to happen. But hopefully, they prove us wrong or right.
Or I don't think we want to be proven right this year.
I mean, because, I think they're going to be a lot more successful this year than they were last year. So I'm hoping they prove me right in that aspect. But at the same time, I also got a lot of skepticism inside me where it's like it's the Bears. They're going to fuck something up eventually. So I hope they prove me wrong.
I mean, look, they do need somebody out there on the opposite side of Montez Sweat. I think that was always the big issue, that the Bears couldn't even get to the quarterback. And they haven't gotten to the quarterback successfully within the last, 2, 3, 4 seasons.
Yeah.
To that point, Jose. And I mean, there's a lot of names out there this upcoming offseason with defensive linemen or defensive edge rushers. Like I said, Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is our age. He's 34.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's crazy, right? He's our age. He's 34. Um, that's the second rated defensive end coming out of the draft this year. Hassan Reddick from the Eagles. Um, he's a free agent. He's the top one out there. I mean, the list goes on and on. And if you want to go to the young route, if you want to go that route, I mean, there's a Chase Young out there who hasn't really been that guy since coming out of Ohio State on the defensive lineman due to all the injuries. But again, if you want to buy low, buy low on the defensive end just to help out, just because of the name. He's only 26.
Where was he at? San Francisco?
He was with New Orleans last year.
Was he?
Yeah, he was with the
Saints.
Saints.
He got traded to the Niners, no?
Yeah. Well, he got traded the first time when he was with the Commanders. He got traded to the 49ers, and then the 49ers let him go, and he played a season with the New Orleans Saints. So, I mean, look, what's the unfortunate part about the Chicago Bears right now is the fact that you have to fix something via free agency, and I just don't want them to neglect everything. There's a lot of holes to be filled in this team. And granted, yes, you could easily trade back that 10th pick if you want that value to probably get another second round or another third round pick, going back in the first round to help you fill out those voids and maybe find somebody, a gold or diamond in the rough in the later draft. But also at the same time, Jose, like they have to keep in mind that they have to get the top rated player on the offensive line, dude. Like if Caleb Williams is the guy how they say that they want to be, they had Gentry cannot be an option. I'm sorry, I know you want to be devil's advocate, but bro, it doesn't make sense for the Bears to go to get something like that. Because the Bears, I mean, last year we kind of thought the arrogance of the Chicago Bears drafting a punter in the 4th round when they could have gotten another player in the 4th round outside of punter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's those situations where like this year the Bears can't be cute. I felt last year they were cute because they got Caleb Williams, they got the quarterback, and they felt like they were arrogant and they were cute to do something of that aspect. They can't do that this year. This year's a huge year for Ryan Poles. It's a huge year for Caleb Williams and for the Chicago Bears because the expectations are not as high anymore, but the expectations are still going to be there because we need to take that next step. We need to be better than we were last year.
Yeah, no, and I hear you. And you know what? We wouldn't be talking about the potential of drafting Gentry if they would have signed somebody like, I don't know, Saquon Barkley, who was reportedly so close to becoming a shark. I mean, he got an extension today, 2-year, 40-something million. I mean, it's like now he's the highest paid running back, rightfully so. I mean, the guy's an animal, beast.
Yeah. Hey guys, join us on the stream. What you guys think about the Chicago Bears? Also, write down in the comments too as well. Hit the link if you want to join us. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms. 2025 would be a good year for Windy City Underground. We will start doing a lot more.
Underground or Rundown?
What did I say? What is it?
Underground.
Rundown? Oh, my bad. That's wrong. What is it? Windy City Rundown. Yeah, 2025 is going to be a big year for us. We're going to start. We're doing it great. We've been really consistent in doing this, and that's what we're trying to do for the whole entire year. So make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, and all that. Make sure you guys like, follow, and share all of our content. Like I said, the link is on here. If you guys want to join us today on the show, what do you guys feel about the Chicago Bears?
That's right, Ocho. I fucking love Shannon Sharp, bro.
That's a podcast right there for sure. If you guys want to listen to it outside of the Windy City Underground, Windy City Rundown. Why am I saying Underground? Why is
Saquon Barkley, Charles Barkley, Lakers in 5,
Lakers in 5, Steph Curry, Chef Curry, Chicken Curry, Lakers in 5. Man, Jose, you know what, bro? Like, I want to go back to this real quick. The one thing about Europe and London that I really do enjoy is the aspect of the culture, that's out there, the diversity that's out there, and a lot of walking, bro. I feel like I feel more of a fat ass since it's been coming back eating the food that we had here than eating the food over there, bro. And it's just the McDonald's is different. That's all I gotta say. I passed by McDonald's today and I was like, plastic. But
Yeah, I'm not
it,
sure why you guys came back, bro. I would have stayed out there. With everything happening here in this country,
we had kids, we have kids, and we have bills, and we have a house, and we got a job. That's the only reason why
we
the
would have
call's
shipped them
back.
over to you.
Yeah, for real, right? It's all good. But Jose, let's shift gears a little bit. I think over the weekend, I think one of the most astonishing things that we saw over the weekend for all our wrestling fans that out there, if you want to join us, you can also talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Hop on the comments and we will answer your questions. But Jose, over the weekend, I think we saw something that I don't think we would ever envision in our lifetime, in our fandom, of a guy who's been like the top person of a company, and then all of a sudden he became the bad guy. That's some off like this, like Star Wars type shit, like how you like to phrase it, bro. We saw the biggest heel turn probably of all time. Heel turns of all heel turns. You could go back to Seth Rollins, you go back to Hulk Hogan, you go back to The Rock, you could go back to Steve Austin. I think none of them came close to what John Cena did over the weekend to Cody Rhodes and what he did.
The biggest comparison was Hulk Hogan bash at the beach when he turned on WCW and joined the NWO. But even then, right? Like, I don't. It was different because Hulk Hogan was in WCW, but he made his name in the WWF way back before.
We're back
He was
before.
one of the biggest baby faces in wrestling history. But here in John Cena, right after becoming a baby face and really taking the company on, after the Attitude Era, after the Attitude Era and into the Ruthless Aggression Era, that was him. Like he literally took that company, the WWE, on his back, and he was the poster child for everything. He had the most Make-A-Wish requests in history. I mean, to this day, he was, fans will turn on him, and because they were tired of him always winning, they were tired of him always being the good guy. His run was going stale. But man, Eric, look, you and I were talking. We watched half of Elimination Chamber together, right? And I said it, right. I was like, I think Cena turned heel tonight, and part of me I was more hopeful than anything.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was gonna happen.
Yeah,
I was hopeful, right? Because I was like, what, like. I knew I kind of had it in my head, like, okay, it's gonna be Cena and Cody. Like, there's no other bigger match than that. But I was like, but it's gonna be a little. I don't want to say a little stale because both guys are going in baby faces, and Cody obviously right now is the prime baby face for the WWE. That's why I feel like it made sense to turn Cena heel because they could afford it, right? But man, when it actually happened, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was done to perfection.
You would probably like 98% of the WWE fan base, bro.
I mean, Sam, thanks for joining us, man. He says here, John Cena's heel turn was pure cinema. The heel run is going to be absolutely legendary. First time since 2003. I'm with them. I'm ready for this. This is going to be amazing. And the beauty of it is that we have 10 months of Cena. He could be a heel up until the last month or so, And just like in Star Wars, Anakin, who was the chosen one, promised since he was a kid, to bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith, turns heel, joins the dark side, becomes Darth Vader, up until the very end where, he was given a choice to kill his son, Luke. He turns on his master, Palpatine, and becomes good again. I feel like it's going to be something like that. But regardless, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. Triple H, all the criticism I've been giving you, 100%. I apologize, Sam. Sam was right. And one of our past shows, he said, give Triple H time, and he was 100% right. Triple H is absolutely cooking.
Yeah.
With what's going on. You know what I mean? He said it himself in that post conference.
His first comment.
His first comment. Doesn't it feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania now? We do. So
does it feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania?
100%.
110%. And to be completely honest, the Elimination Chamber in itself overall was just a great PLE, bro. I think you had a little bit of everything. I mean, let's be completely honest. I personally feel like I could watch Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go at it every single time, and they'll just throw a banger after banger to take away from Sheamus and what he says. Like you said, the men's Elimination Chamber, it was down to 2. I think Seth Rollins being that evil guy too as well, and ruining the chance of not John Cena. I'm sorry, CM Punk, main inventing his WrestleMania dream that he's been dreaming for the last 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, and just hear him scream, "Die, die!" You know what I mean? It just feels very, very, very good. The women's elimination chamber MVP, Liv Morgan. Let's give credit where credit's due. Liv
An
Morgan
Oscar,
carried.
an Oscar, an Oscar-winning performance from Bianca Belair. Dude, WWE put out a post on social media of the camera inside that chamber of just her and how she
Oh
was
yeah, I
ready.
saw that.
Great. She
Perfect.
really sold that. That was amazing.
What are you doing, Jay?
That was great.
The way how she was crying, it was perfect.
They started out, dude. That whole that card was great.
It was
It was
great. I mean, even the tag team champion or the tag team match between Tiffy and Trish and Nia and Candice LeRae, I mean, that was also good too. I mean, it was great. On top of that,
it's always good to see Trish come
right,
back.
right,
25th anniversary.
right. It was good. Sam continues on. He says, KO and Sam was my favorite matches in the last couple of years. True professionals, 110%.
Amazing,
They've
man.
been at it since even back in their
Ring
OVW
of
days.
Honor days, man.
They've been going back, and I mean, outside of being best friends, and I think that also helps their chemistry too as well, right? Knowing the fact that they're best friends in real life, they trust each other and they know each other to a T, and it's just it was a great match. Randy Orton
That,
coming
that
back.
match that match was very reminiscent of the Ring of Honor days when they were facing there when Sami Zayn was Generico. Oh man, those matches were crazy, and this was just one of those those crazy ass matches,
Those
man.
crazy ass
Those
matches.
guys just deserve, man. They are so good. They are so good.
The one thing I would say though that kind of pissed me off a little bit was the fact that fucking Kevin Owens almost killed Sami Zayn even after the match. Randy Orton comes, beats the shit out of KO, and they won't let him kick the shit out of him. They won't let him punt
You gotta
his
wait.
head. Why
You
would
gotta let
you?
that build. You gotta let that build. The payoff will be maybe at
I
WrestleMania,
get
but
it.
you gotta let
I
that
get
build.
it. I get it. I absolutely do it. Even on top of that, dude, even yesterday, if you guys didn't see it, EO Sky, nobody saw that coming. I
Dude, I'm
didn't see
telling
that
you.
coming.
Look, the one thing about wrestling, right, is that there's a lot of dirt sheets, a lot of reporters, journalists, guys who like to predict or they get reports or rumors of what's going to happen.
Yeah,
One thing I like about Triple H is that he literally throws them, he swerves all of them. He throws them on curveballs. They don't
that's
see none of that shit coming, and that's how it's
that's a
supposed to be in wrestling.
that's a 12-6 curveball right in front of you, bro, and then you see it and then it goes away.
Yeah,
Like it is beautiful. I mean, the Raw was just amazing yesterday. Like
dude.
even
To
the
start off with
CM
CM
Punk,
Punk, he was going crazy on the mic.
what do you call
Crazy.
him? You ball headed fraud. What do you call the
Oh,
Rock?
he called them both ball headed frauds.
Both frauds, right? Both
He got in
bald.
Cena's ass. He got in The Rock's ass. Oh yeah, bro. It was
Seth
yesterday.
Rollins. I mean, hey, it just like you could just you could. The one thing I love about it though, the one oh I just fell down. My Funko Pop just fell down. I fell down. The one thing that I love about I,
Yeah, bro.
and
You
then
got
I
the
just
Windy City Rundown Funko Pops over there. Now you
yeah,
just
right.
dropped me.
As
Now
I
you
got
dropped
him.
me, bro. Now you
I
dropped me.
dropped you, bro. Yeah, at least you didn't have. At least you don't have hair. I did, so I had to put my hair back on. Anywho, oh, dude, like the one thing that you could kind of already see, you could already envision somehow, some way, Roman Reigns is gonna be involved in next week's matchup between CM Punk and Seth
Oh
Rollins.
yeah.
Like it's just there. Hey, what up, Carbs? He says, "Cero miedo."
Hello.
Even Penta and Ludwig Kaiser, I feel like that might be one of the matches in WrestleMania, possibly. That build
Well,
up is
who
good.
knows? Because Penta's brother Ray Phoenix was officially released by AEW. I think it
So
was
I
today or
heard.
yesterday.
I think
Um,
the other day.
I think it was yesterday, but officially released, finally released. AEW they tacked on some injury time to that contract, so Tony Khan was being a huge hater. But when Ray Phoenix comes, man, you guys are impressed by Penta.
Penta.
Penta has the presence, but Ray Phoenix has the crazy ass moves, the maneuvers. You just wait to watch when you watch him wrestle. The guy is amazing, amazing. And when the Lucha Bros are a tag team again, they're going to be one of the best tag teams in the WWE for sure.
Yeah, I mean, hey, well, it's a wait to see for that to happen. I mean, right now, look, the road to WrestleMania is just it's cooking. It's finally here. It's 6 weeks away. What do you say? He got an Ultimate Warrior Funko Pop. Well, that probably sounds pretty dope. That is pretty dope. These are all my Funko Pops collection. This is all I have right now. I got Jose with me on the daily. I got myself there. I got Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh! My Ted Lassos. So, all that good stuff. No, bro. But like I said, outside of the Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, outside of the Jey Uso and Gunther, we're finally slowly getting that slow burn to WrestleMania, and I feel like there's still a lot more matches to come that I feel what could possibly be a possibility. I mean, Bailey versus what's her name? Lyra Valkyria. That could probably be a possible matchup at WrestleMania.
No, I can see Bailey versus Roxanne Perez. I think they're gonna. I think they've been building up for something like that to happen at Mania. Maybe
triple threat. Maybe I could. The thing about me, the one thing I really want to see at WrestleMania is that every single title has to be defended at WrestleMania. And then you'll have your one or two matches that are just a singles matchup that's just there, like the Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. And then we'll probably get that triple threat between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns, simply because those bring value to it. But I always felt like every PLE or those big ones.
Don't forget Solo and Jacob Fatu. I feel like they're building up to that too. That's going to be a Mania match. It has to be.
Is it worthy though of a WrestleMania match?
You have 2 nights. You have 2 nights. I think it is. I think honestly, I think it is. I think Solo versus Fatu could be a Mania match for sure.
At least an opening match, probably.
Something. I mean, obviously, it's not going to main event.
That's
it could be somewhere in the mid card. It's fine, but I feel like you got to have Jacob Fatu in WrestleMania, and a good way of having him is going against Solo.
That's not a bad matchup, though. It really isn't. I'll sit down and watch that one. I think WrestleMania would probably be. Who? What do you think? Would this live up to the expectations of last year's WrestleMania?
I think with everything we're seeing now, yes. I think obviously, look, the Cody finishing his story, that thing was huge, and It finally happened. So WWE definitely had it to realize, okay, what can be just as big, if not bigger. Cena turning heel, I mean, it's as big as anything. Let's be honest, like the fact that ESPN, SportsCenter, First Take, everybody had it. It was mainstream all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, it was something that nobody saw coming, and when it happened, everybody was talking about. So 100%, they have a lot of steam, a lot of momentum going into WrestleMania. I think they got to do it right. Cena winning the 17 championship, for me, has to happen. Have 100%. Cody chase him all the way up until the end, and then see where it goes from there. But yeah, I think man, you got something. You definitely got something. Last year was the babyface story. I think this year will be the heel story. You gotta let Cena win that 17 championship. He breaks the record. It'll be a talking point going forward, and we have corporate Cena or whatever kind of Cena this is going to be. I'm all in, man. I'm excited. Because think about it. Even with Cena being heel and he's a champion, you have someone like CM Punk who's going to chase him. I mean, the history between those guys. You can have someone like Randy Orton chasing him. The history between those guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you got something here, and that has to be it. That has to be it going forward for sure.
Do you think? Do you think that it's Cena breaking the record and not Charlotte Flair, or both of them tie for the record, or? How do you actually see it? Like what makes more sense? I know it's Charlotte Flair.
Got ways to go. She's like 14, 15. She still has ways to go. Yeah, she's not yet 16 yet. Huh. So I think it makes sense now to have Cena do it. You got to remember this too, by the way. Ric Flair is the 16-time champion, but he's the 16-time world champion in multiple companies. It's not just WWE, WWF. Like that reign started with NWA. Went on to WWF, WCW, you name it, et cetera, et cetera. John Cena has been the 16 champion all in WWE alone. So I get it. They want to acknowledge Ric Flair's record because Ric Flair is one of the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. But John Cena winning 17, 100% should break it. I think Charlotte. I think they should have 2 records, one for the men, one for the women. I think Charlotte can be, the record holder for the women's, but I think in the men's side, it should definitely be Cena.
Awesome. Obviously, we're gonna have more wrestling talk coming up especially for these next couple weeks, and especially when something big happens, like I don't think nothing's gonna be bigger than John Cena turning heel, but for sure, when something big happens along the lines of WrestleMania right around the corner, we're definitely gonna have more conversations about wrestling. Wrestling podcast is still in talks too as well, and it's going to be fun. It is going to be great. We love the wrestling fans that are on here. We want to give a shout out to everybody, not just talking about Chicago sports and sports in general, but there's also other sports that we also enjoy too as well, and wrestling is one of them. Soccer podcast may come back. I don't know, depending. I'll see how it goes. Champions League is on it. But either outside of that, like I said, Windy City Rundown, we have something big coming up in 2025, and it's only going to get bigger for this. Jose, I think we also have a really good. I think we came up with a great plan, for our show. I think we should go out our ways to get a sponsor for this one, as we all do as guys. We all do one thing and one thing good, and that's go to the barbershop and get our haircut. So no matter what barber you go, shout out to Magic, free plug right there. But we decided to have a little barbershop top 5, or the barbershop conversation. And everybody talks about this. And we're going to grab different components. We're going to grab a top 5 conversation of top 5 this, top 5 that. That's the basis of the barbershop talk here on the Woody City Rundown.
Or this and that. You know what I mean?
This and that, whatever the case may be. We'll find this. And today, since the biggest topic that we talked about today, and we want you guys to join in too as well, the biggest topic for today is actually our top 5 wrestlers of all time, right? It could be the past. It could be the present. It could be from a different company. Who knows? But it's your top 5 wrestlers of all time. This is your top 5. We can always have an argument over it. We can always have a conversation about it, simply because that's what it's all about. We're just having a conversation about your list, because it is your list and it is your opinion. We love to talk about it. So for Jose, you being the main guy of wrestling in this show between you and I, why don't you start off and give us your top 5 wrestlers, starting at number 5?
All time wrestlers. Man. Then you want me to put them in order? I have a top 5. I just don't know how to put them. But I think if I'm going to go top 5, I'm definitely going to do The Rock at number 5. Now, this was hard for me, right? Because Eddie Guerrero is one of my biggest and favorite wrestlers of all time, and he was going to be in my top 5. But that's only because he made an impact in my life. But when you talk about impact of the sport, of the wrestling sport in general, you can't leave The Rock out of a top 5 list. I mean, what he's been able to do, even now, look what he's doing now. It's amazing. It's nothing short but incredible. He was one of the greatest champions. He entertained everybody, myself included, when we were little. He's honestly one of my top 5, not just on the mic, but in the ring. I mean, the matches he had with, you name it, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Hulk Hogan, the list goes on and on. The Rock was definitely a staple in my life, my wrestling fandom. So for me, he has to be in the top 5. I have him at number 5 for sure.
Okay, that's good.
Number 4, his rival, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I get it, that may be low for some people, but when we talk about wrestling, I mean, same thing. He was the epitome of what wrestling was. I mean, when that glass shattered, everybody knew. Everybody was going crazy. You knew what was going to happen. Hell will break loose. With his rivalry from Vince McMahon to The Rock to Triple H, everybody in between, Stone Cold Steve Austin was amazing. The reason why I feel like I don't have him over the next 3 people I'm going to put him over is because of longevity. When the next 3 people that I'm about to name, they have longevity over both The Rock and Stone Cold combined. So for sure, Stone Cold's my top 5. He has to be number 4. And number 3, I got to go with The Undertaker. I mean, you talk about longevity. You talk about one of the greatest of all time, Mr. WrestleMania, the streak. Amazing. The Undertaker is synonymous to wrestling, synonymous to WrestleMania. He's number 3 in my book. And the matches he had with Shawn Michaels and others, I mean, it's unparalleled.
Yeah, I could definitely hear you that right now. Before Jose finishes up his top 2 of top 5 wrestlers, guys, make sure you join us. Make sure you guys follow Windy City Rundown on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit the little bell to get notified when our shows are on. Right now, we're doing our own barbershop of our top 5 wrestlers of all time. If you guys want to put on the comment, or if you guys want to join us, the link is on the comment section too as well. Give us your top 5 wrestlers of all time in our new segment of the Barbershop Talk Top 5. We are, like I said, we're listing our top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. Like I said, put it on the comments or put it on or join us on the stream.
By the way, Eric, I don't mean just throw you under the bus, but you gotta change that profile picture. You're not the champion no more, man.
I do gotta change it, don't I? I already know what I'm gonna change it. I already know what I'm gonna change it to.
Jose, the other Jose, he beat you in the finals this past
year. For sure, he did.
Finals
Congrats on that part. Yeah, no, I already got my picture ready to go. I already know which one I'm gonna do it. So it's gonna come up soon. It's gonna be cool. So Jose right now, Jose's top 5. We're gonna go from 5 on up. So far, he has 5, 4, and 3. Number 5 is The Rock. Number 4 is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Number 3, The Dead Man, The Undertaker.
That's right.
Jose, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. It has to be Ric Flair. When you talk about 16-time champion, you talk about a champion not just in WWE, WWF. You're talking about all over the place, NWA, WCW. I mean, the matches he had, the rivalries he had with Ricky, the Dragon Steamboat, everybody, man. I mean, the man's a legend. He's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. And the way he used to do it, Eric, he used to go 1 hour matches consistently. Imagine now, like 20-minute matches are like for us are long. This guy used to do it an hour consistently at a high level. He's wrestled everybody and anybody in the business.
Yeah.
To beat the man, you got to be the man. I mean, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And Ric Flair was the man for ages, for decades. Definitely in my top 5. Number 2, and
Coke and alcohol can do one damn thing to keep it going for an hour.
I'm saying the reason why he's not my number 1 is because Shawn Michaels is my number 1, man. Shawn Michaels is number 1. The matches he had with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, how can you not? The matches he had with Kurt Angle, the matches he had with Ric Flair, Triple H. I mean, I was just watching Armageddon 2003, 2002, 2003, one of the 2 years when he had the Iron Man, the 2 out of 3 falls Triple H. Crazy match. Fun fact, we just saw the Elimination Chamber this past week, and Shawn Michaels was the first ever Elimination Chamber winner in 2002, winning the World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah.
How those cages upgraded, huh?
Yeah, man, that was crazy. I guess I just watched it the other day. You can watch it on Peacock. Amazing. But yeah, Shawn Michaels my number 1 all-time wrestler for me. So yeah, I have The Rock at 5, Stone Cold at 4, The Undertaker at 3, Ric Flair at 2, and the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, at number 1.
That's not bad. It's a decent list. I like that list. That's a very good list right there. So yeah, guys, if you want to join us, what's your top 5 wrestlers of all time? It could be past, present, whatever it is. It is your list of all time. So let's go right here. Do you have any honorable mentions? I know you said Eddie Guerrero. Do you have another one?
Guerrero is the one wrestler who made the most impact in my life. I could still watch the No Way Out 2004 pay-per-view against him and Brock Lesnar and cry every single time when he wins. It was hard not to put him in my top 5. He's definitely number 6. Obviously, you can't have a top 5 or a Mount Rushmore without John Cena. What he's been able to do, carry the company on his back for a very long time. 100% amazing. I'm trying to think of who else. Am I forgetting anybody? But for now, Kurt Angle. How can I, dude? Not putting Kurt Angle in my top 5 was so hard for me. The man is amazing. He had great matches in WWE, probably his best matches in TNA. Dude, Kurt Angle was hands down one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So not putting those guys in there for sure definitely hurt. Obviously, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, those guys are great. But yeah, I feel good with my top 5.
Yeah, my honorable mention, I want to get out of the way. Bret Hart. I had a good Bret Hart. I was a good fan of Bret Hart. I felt like he always got screwed. That's always a fun fact right there. He got screwed in his hometown. He should have been the first wrestler to done their business, but business is business. I guess you can say that the right way. Bret Hart. Sting to me is also on there. I really enjoy Sting. I think his aura of himself just being there. Come on now. I mean, it is just perfect. And I think Sting is, to me, there was a boat missed of Sting being in the WWF, WWE at that time, and the matches he could have had with some of the wrestlers
Well, I'll
that
tell
we
you what.
mentioned, The Rock, Stone Cold, The Undertaker
I'll
was
tell you
there.
what though, if you're a big Sting fan, AEW, the way they send him off, he does retirement match in AEW. They did it right. You got to
Yeah,
watch it.
I
They did it
will,
right.
I will, I will.
AEW did it
But
right for
into
sure.
my top five, Jose, my number five, Triple H. I have Triple H. To me,
How can I
I
forget
think
Triple H?
right. I mean, to me, he made me what wrestling is, bro. It was a man at that time that did it all, from Hunter Hearst Helmsley and being this guy from Britain, and being that guy to all of a sudden just being a degenerate with the Generation X from Shawn Michaels. He was a tag team guy. He did it solo with the Game and Triple H, the cerebral assassin. And then as soon as he got older, obviously again he used that the corporate way where he got Evolution started. I mean, Triple H is literally probably one of the guys who did it both as a face and also as a heel. Did it more a
Yeah.
heel a lot more than he did a face, but he was good at it. Mike Preston was good. I mean, the dude sometimes would go off topic and just be like, I mean, the Kofi Kingston one was always good. Like, hey, aren't you Jamaican? It's like stuff like that. His segments and promos with Shawn Michaels when he was Generation X and all that. Triple H to me solidifies top five in my book.
It's a really good
I know you
one.
didn't have him. I did. I think that's one
No,
probably
you
one
know
of the
what? That's an amazing one because if you think about it, all the guys that he made. The one thing
yeah,
about
yeah,
wrestling is you got to help make your opponent, and he helped
yeah.
make so many different
So many
people
people.
because
So many people.
he was such a great heel, and you needed a
Yeah,
heel like that.
yeah.
That type of
So
heel what Triple H is what WWE is missing today.
oh,
A
definitely
pure
a pure
heel,
bad guy.
a pure
Uh
bad guy,
huh.
100%.
Speaking of a pure bad guy, the only reason why I have him above Triple H is simply because I felt like he went a little bit more above in how crazy he went in that bald era that he had of Randy Orton. And I just love Randy Orton as bad Randy Orton. And even on top of that, the athleticism, like the guy was just a pure machine, a pure monster, a pure charismatic person. And when he was a baby face, people love to hate Randy Orton, right? I think he's getting a lot of love now simply because he knows he's on the tail end of his career, and we just miss it. We miss the Randy Orton that we all grew up in watching, from Evolution to being on his own solo run. I mean, the man had aura, and the evil Randy Orton, bald Randy Orton, was just another level above any other wrestler because of the character that he is. And to me, like Randy Orton was just it's just pure perfection, bro. I just love Randy Orton. The only reason why he's only in my number four and I have three other people above him, it's the aura effect. And I think that always what's captivated me. If you have great aura, I will put you above almost everybody, no matter what your accolades are. And Undertaker to me at number three. I think we both have Undertaker at three. Undertaker just had aura from the get go. I think from that gimmick when he first started to the American Badass, back to the Undertaker. And to be completely honest, I mean, he's also one of the guys that perfectly played the heel and also the babyface very, very well. And everybody respected the Undertaker. Outside of the streak, like you mentioned earlier, the 21-0, outside of all of that, the Undertaker also made, like Triple H, also made the next wrestlers too as well. He also carried the company on his back. Undertaker, it was just the perfect character for not only the start off of the WWE, but also his change in the ruthless aggression era. The attitude era too as well. He fit it all. The Undertaker to me is just pure perfection, and I love the Undertaker. Um, and I put him in my number three,
Good
just
choice.
like you, just like
Good
you.
choice. Good choices for sure.
Again, pure aura. Roman Reigns is number two. My tribal chief is a number two, bro. And look, and I get it. The way how he came up with the Shield, perfect. I think you could probably put the Shield as one of the greatest factions of all time, especially for what they did, the chaos that they caused. The three guys in what do we call him? Do we call him Dean Ambrose or John Moxley? Which one are we calling him right now? Are we calling him right now what he is right now?
He's currently John Moxley, so let's
We're
respect
gonna
him.
call him John Moxley for the moment, right? But him and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, bro, them three, the way how they just carried that tag team division. Not only that, even carried at a time in a period where John Cena was leaving doing movies. It was that in that time where like they needed somebody and they had carried that company on the back. All three of them really did. And now him being the tribal chief, him being by himself at first, kind of sucked being the big dog, and everybody didn't like that, which is fine, which is cool. But to me, the moment he became tribal chief after he came back his leukemia stint, and also with COVID, I acknowledge my tribal chief, and he's my number two. And given the title reign that he had for such a long time, I would give him that accolade as my number two. My number one, I think, like you said, the biggest aura of them all, even though it was a short period of time, I put Stone Cold Steve Austin as number two. I mean, my number one. I'm sorry. As my number one, Stone Cold Steve Austin as my number one. Like you just mentioned, glass shattering, the fights that he had, HBK winning his first title at WrestleMania with Shawn Michaels, the fights that he had with The Rock, the matches he had with The Rock, the storytelling. Hell, he was the first guy that made you feel like you could fight your boss and not get fired. You know what I mean? He's the guy that made you feel like you could say whatever you want. I mean, even to this day, no matter how you feel, the what chants from when he first started is still going on today. You know what I mean? The posters of, John 16, Michael 316, Stone Cold Austin, that those signs are still relevant to today. You know what I mean? And Stone Cold Steve Austin, like you say, it just, there's many different things that would just be like earth shattering, and everybody would get the loudest pop, and that glass shattering, bro, like it just will give the biggest pop. And hell, it was okay at the time as a little kid and as an adult to raise up your fist and show off the middle finger and still be okay and give me a hell yeah. You know what I mean? Aura. And Stone Cold Steve Austin had it, bro. And that's right, to me, he's my number one.
Hell yeah.
And I don't think, and ours kind of different a little bit. I think we only had Stone Cold and The Undertaker on our list, but I like the disparity that what we have. And I think we're gonna post this up on our social media. Our social medias on our top 5 wrestlers of all time. Again, it's for fun, for shits and giggles, for entertainment purposes. So join in. We will respond to this. But Jose, you're number 5. The Rock, you're number 4. Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're number 3. The Undertaker, Ric Flair at number 2. HBK at number 1. I had Triple H at 5. Randy Orton at 4. Undertaker at 3. Roman at 2. Stone Cold at 1. Great list. It's a good list. I like the varieties of the list too as well. So
it's a good list for sure.
It's a great list. We're gonna be doing this every week, guys. We'll change it up. We'll change the different top 5. So make sure you guys join us. We will make sure we post it up ahead of time so that way you guys can join us too as well in the conversation. Outside of that, Jose, our show is about to wrap up, man. Is there anything else you want to say before we leave?
Yeah. Shout out to the Blackhawks making that trade for Spencer Knight, their new goalie. 41 save game the other day, amazing. So shout out to the Blackhawks. They needed a good goalie. They finally got it. Hopefully, he was worth the trades for sure. But yeah, man, you can't forget about the Blackhawks. Can't forget about hockey. Baseball season is also coming up on its way. So go Cubs, go! But yeah, we'll definitely be talking about those sports very, very, very soon.
Okay, not bad. I mean, preseason hockey, everybody. Jose just talked about preseason hockey. That is great.
Definitely not preseason, but okay.
You know what? I think I finally found a good one for next year. For next week. For our barbershop talk. So I got a good one. I got a good one for next week. So make sure you guys tune in for next week too as well. We are back. We are going to be more consistently. I'll make sure I won't go to Europe throughout the time anyway. So we are back here. We're Jose and I. So we'll be here next Tuesday, probably around the same time, 6:00. I think that fits for everybody. Does that fit your schedule, Jose?
It fits my schedule. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. Your boys play tomorrow, Champions League. Jose, what do you got? Liverpool money line.
Yep, Liverpool money line every day, all day. Doesn't matter who they play, what day they play. Liverpool money line all day, every day. If you never walk alone, baby.
There you go. My Gunner somehow, someway found the scoring touch.
7-1 is crazy.
7-1 is crazy. That's, I don't think in 112 years, 112. I think I saw something in PSV history. In 112 years, they've never given up more than 5 goals at home. Arsenal played 7, and they don't even have a striker. That's fucking ridiculous to me, man.
Crazy.
That is crazy to me. But
right.
I mean, hey,
good win for them. Good win for your Gunners.
if only if only they did that 10 days ago when I was out there. If only they scored one goal. I would love to be part of that mayhem, but it is what it is. I got to saw them. I had a dream come true. Saw my Gunners at home. So, next stop is a Champions League game with my boys out there in London. So, we'll see what it is.
Go Liverpool tomorrow. You'll never walk alone, baby.
Yeah. I mean, favorable matchup in the Champions League. That's definitely for damn sure.
For sure.
All right, that's Windy City Rundown, guys. The show, we will share it again tomorrow. If you guys didn't join us today, make sure you give us your guys' take about our Chicago sports team. We will answer them too when we go on Facebook on the comment section too as well. For Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. We will see you guys next week at 6 p.m. That's going to be our time from here on out, so don't miss it. Make sure you guys hit the little bell to get notified when our shows are live. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, and all the social media that we have out there. We will post up for you guys. We're gonna start changing some things here. And yeah, WrestleMania is right around the corner.
Yeah,
free agency is right around the corner. We are excited for this.
Draft is right around the corner, boy. We're gonna be a lot to talk about here on the Windy City Rundown for sure.
A lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. And obviously, keep being on the lookout just in case if something crazy happens in the sports world. We will have an emergency podcast for us to talk about it. So be on the lookout for that too as well. But like I said, for Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. We will see you guys next week at 6 p.m. Same time, same place. Love you guys. Have a good one.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
He's running like he's got a lobster down his pants, showing that he is as slippery as a bar of soap. Like poop through a diarrhea-infected goose.
Commented about it.
That's fine. I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take this serious.
I'm
real serious. I put my heart and soul into this every single week.
Are we done here?
It's about time.